All right, folks, if you own a boat, you also own a drain plug story, because we all have one. Now, it took me 20 years of negotiating with my significant other to finally get a real boat. Not a canoe, a kayak, or an inflatable raft, which I've owned all three, but a real boat with a real drain plug. And we all have a drain plug story. So this video is about drain plugs, tips and tricks, things to watch out for. 501 Fishing, stay tuned. So the number one rule when you pull your boat out is to remove your drain plug. And that's really for two reasons. Number one, the DNR will ticket you if you have your drain plug in, as well as your live well. Make sure you remove that plug too. But the second reason is invasive aquatic species. It's a big problem, and if you take on any kind of water in your boat, you could transfer that from lake to lake. So the responsible thing is to make sure that drain plug is removed. But don't get a ticket, just remove your drain plug. Now, two types of drain plugs that I've used. This is my go-to one right now. It is a twist style drain plug, rubber garment, a little screw there that as you turn and twist that knob, it tightens it. Let me show you how you put this in. So you can see there's a drain plug hole right there. You just simply insert it and twist to tighten. As you tighten that down, it gets really difficult to tighten, and that drain plug is not coming out. Very secure. Now, this was not my first drain plug. This one was. Flip style drain plug. Number one, don't use them ever. Just don't. I got this from the dealer when I first got my boat. I knew nothing about them. But I will go ahead and show you how these work. Same concept. You've got that rubber garment. You're going to go ahead and just insert it into the drain plug hole, flip the tab, and you're done. Super quick and simple, easy. Unfortunately, when I first got my boat, I inserted it and flipped it down. And the problem, of course, is there's water. That as that water comes off from the bottom of your boat, it will put pressure on that tab. Mine popped right up. My drain plug story starts because mine popped right out. So I was fishing with my son, and we pulled up to a nice fishing spot, and I went ahead and dropped trolling motor. I was on the bow fishing, my son was on the stern here. About 15 minutes into it, he starts freaking out and he's like, Dad, quick, come back here. I dropped down here and there was water already over the base of that pedestal. It had filled up about halfway. This boat was swamped and I started to freak out. I knew immediately my drain plug was missing. I quickly reeled in lines, pulled up the trolling motor, started the engine, and just tried to take off. When I put that boat into drive, my boat almost went vertical straight up in the air. It was so heavy of water. And it went like this all the way across the lake. It almost took the entire distance of the lake for me to finally get it onto plane. Once I got it onto plane, I just kept doing circles, trying to allow water to flow out of the drain plug hole. I do have a bilge pump on here. I did have it activated. I will tell you that bilge pump barely pushed any water out compared to how much was in here. So again, my first time out, my first time with a boat, I was freaking out. So number one rule about these drain plugs, just don't use them. Now I have one. I have one that I keep in my glove box here as a backup. And I use that just in case the universe tried to totally mess with me and this drain plug was to pop out. Someone had told me, hey, why don't you put the drain plug from the inside of the boat? Fair enough. Let me show you this. And there you have access to a lot of the electronics and gear. And if you look way down in there, you will see the drain plug hole. But can you imagine my big old gorilla hands trying to get in there and put in and out every time? I don't think so. So that's really not a feasible option. Number one, do not use this as your main drain plug. If anything, just get two of these and you're call it good. So twist drain plug is the way to go. Okay, so here's the rest of the story. I get that boat pulled out of the water, get it home, and I'm in a full panic. All I had were these visions of old aluminum boats with rotten floorboards, and I thought to myself, this is my one and only boat. Like, I just ruined it on the very first trip. So I was so upset and frustrated. I went out to the internet to a place called Walleye Central. It's a message board. So I posted a message out there, just flooded my boat, lost my drain plug, feel like I ruined my boat. I'm panicking here. Can somebody just help me figure out what to do to try to help dry this thing out? A lot of really great guys out there helped me out. They told me to take off the stern hole cover and throw a fan down there, kind of get some air circulating. They gave me confidence that it would dry out, But one guy in particular had the perfect response. He responded, "If you're afraid of your boat getting wet, maybe you shouldn't own a boat." What a smart ass. Holy crap, but it's true. I mean, I appreciate them. Boats are meant to get wet. They're meant to be in the water. They're meant to be, well, they're not meant to be underwater, but they're meant to get wet inside and out. The boat's gonna be okay. Got the fans down there, dried out the boat. Guess what? No floor rot. Boat dried out just fine. And I have learned my lesson. Make sure in your routine, when you put the drain plug in, use the right kind of drain plug. And then when you're pulling your boat out, remove your drain plug for both DNR ticketing as well as the transfer of invasive aquatic species. So, all right, guys, that's all I've got for today. 501 Fishing. Until next time, tight lines, and I'll see you on the water.